I'm gonna put the pasta in to boil, and I'm using bucatini, but you can use any pasta you want, and that really is the case with every pasta dish I make. Just walk into your pantry or open your pantry door, look at the pasta possibilities. You can even put a blindfold on and just pick one. That's how versatile this recipe is. So I just added some pancetta to a skillet with olive oil and butter. And the reason this is a PDQ recipe is I'm using butternut squash that was already prepped, and I got this in the produce section of the supermarket, which is a revelation because if anyone has ever cooked with a butternut squash and prepped it from scratch, you know how long it takes. It can be a bit of a pain. So I'm adding some chopped red onion. So pancetta, butternut squash, red onion, olive oil, butter. Look how delicious this looks already. So now I've just got to let this cook for about 8 minutes. The butternut squash is starting to soften and get little brown edges, and that pancetta is getting sort of crispy. I love pancetta, which is basically an Italian bacon. So it has delicious flavor. It's not quite as like strong and smoky and bacony as the bacon we know. So it's great for a pasta dish like this. Okay, moving on to the next stage of the pasta sauce. I'm gonna add some garlic and fresh thyme and sun-dried tomatoes. I love this sauce because it's not heavy, but it does have a lot of wonderful, luscious ingredients. Look at that, how yummy. So now the next little stage of ingredients, bagged kale. This has already been torn, washed, loved on, hugged, so it's ready to go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add Parmesan cheese on top of the kale. I'm gonna save a little bit for the top, for the garnish, as we like to say in the Drummond Ranch kitchen. Okay, so Paigey, as you can see, the kale is kind of starting to wilt a little bit. But what I love about kale is it doesn't really wilt very fast. Like if you use spinach, you just have basically a couple minutes before it really wilts. So the pasta goes in. Oh, I forgot to add wine.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I'm just gonna add it now because there's no way I'm gonna let this go. Listen. Ooh. It's the sound of sin and deliciousness right there. And then I'm gonna add pasta water. Usually you would add the wine after you add the kale and Parmesan. So it's okay to add it a little bit late. Better late than never, right guys?
That's right.
Okay, so now I'm gonna turn the heat down and start stirring this together. And you still wanna cook it a little bit so that wine and pasta water kind of starts to thicken. And look, oh my word. So the last thing I'm gonna add, I think it's the last thing, you never know with me. I'm gonna squeeze in some lemon just to brighten things up. To me, there's just nothing about this dish that isn't perfect. I would make this for myself on a Monday night, a Tuesday afternoon, a Saturday morning. You didn't laugh enough. Okay, and then some black pepper. So then I've got some toasted pine nuts, and I'm gonna sprinkle them over. And all I did was just put pine nuts in a dry skillet over kind of medium heat and just shook the skillet around for about 5 minutes, and it kind of makes them light and golden. And there we go. This is where I start to lose track. Parmesan cheese and torn basil. Look. Hello, hello, hello. You wanna make me happy? Just make me this any day of the week.
I am making my roasted squash shells and cheese, which are creamy and cozy with sharp cheddar and a sweet smoky vibe that is unexpectedly awesome. So to get started, I have one 1-pound butternut squash that I've peeled and cubed into 1-inch pieces, along with an onion. Got some olive oil on here to help it get crispy, and I'll season it with salt and pepper, some paprika, some mustard powder, and then a little bit of nutmeg. Combination of nutmeg with cheese is cozy AF. Okay, now I'll toss this all together. Okay, this is all coated in the oil and the seasonings. I'll roast this now until the squash is browned around the edges and tender all the way through at 450 degrees for about 20 minutes. And while that goes, I'll cook up my shells. So I have a big pot of water coming to a boil, and now the difference between good pasta and great pasta is a proper amount of salt in the water. This is how the pasta gets seasoned. So I usually go for between 1.5 to 2 tablespoons. I've got a pound of shells here. I'll dump them right in. And I'm gonna cook them until they're soft. And give it a little stir. I'll let my pasta continue to cook as I check on my veggies. Oh yeah. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Some great roasty color. So I'll transfer this right into my blender. Now to help this come together, I'll pour in 1.5 cups of low sodium veggie stock. And now that my pasta is just about done cooking, I'm gonna ladle out some of the pasta water. I'll pour in half of it now and then reserve the other half in case I need to thin out the sauce later. Okay, time to blend. Okay. Oh yeah. That's really, really velvety, and it's gonna get super creamy once I add the cheese. I'll set this aside for a sec while I drain the pasta. I'll return this to the stove. It looks good already, but come on. Cheese makes everything better. I have sriracha for drizzling later, and then 2 cups of shredded sharp cheddar, which I love with this because sharp cheddar is so loud and punchy and flavorful. Butternut squash is more mild-mannered, so, you know, opposites attract. I'll sprinkle this in gradually and just allow it to melt. In goes the last bit of cheese. Okay, that is one luxurious sauce. I'm gonna give it a taste just to make sure that all the seasonings are in line. Oh yeah, that's seriously amazing. It's like the best butternut squash soup there ever was because it's so cheesy. Time for the pasta. I'll dump it in. I'll fold my shells in to get them coated in the sauce. This is the definition of saucy perfection. In my experienced macaroni and cheese opinion, the best bites of mac and cheese are enjoyed while still standing over the pot. Good thing I have this right nearby. The sriracha is necessary. You gotta have a little heat with butternut squash. It's so cheesy. The heat and the sweetness from the squash.
This is my seasonal take on a comfort food classic. Y'all, I'm talking about lasagna. I'm making butternut squash and kale lasagna spirals.
Ooh,
Wow.
Okay.
So like vegetarian, not vegan, but vegetarian.
It is vegetarian, that's right. This would be perfect for a meatless Monday. It also is a great freezer meal because we're making them into spirals. You can individually freeze the spirals and then just have them to pop in to make a quick weeknight dinner.
I love it.
Because this is a little labor intensive, you'll see. Jeff, I'm gonna have you continue to dice up our butternut squash here. You don't have to do anything with this one. It's just here for
Very
good
nice.
looks.
Good.
So I like them a small dice, and we're gonna roast those in the oven. I've got my pan here to start cooking our veg that goes into the filling. So some minced onion. And I like to cut this up pretty fine and just cook them just for a couple minutes till they start to get translucent. That happens pretty quickly because they're so small. Now, with this recipe, you know, we're obviously using a fresh butternut squash that we're chopping up. You could get the prepackaged, the ones that are already chopped up for you at the grocery store. You can buy frozen butternut squash that you could roast, or you could just do a whole substitution and use canned butternut squash puree in this recipe.
Are we gonna puree this, or it gets roasted?
No,
and then
I'm
you're
just
keeping it
roasting
whole,
it and
okay.
keeping it whole.
I'm
I
like,
don't
why am
think
I
I've
dicing it?
seen
You know?
butternut squash puree yet in my grocery store. I'm gonna have to. I'm not probably even paying attention.
It's right around where the pumpkin is. You could use canned pumpkin in this too if you just wanted the whole thing to be creamy. I like the texture of having the pieces of the butternut squash. All right, so I'm gonna add to this some chopped up mushrooms. So these are creminis that I've finely chopped. You could use white buttons. You could use a mixture. The sky's the limit with your mushrooms. And cook those just until all that water comes out of them. And then adding to it some garlic.
That's a lot. I like that.
Yeah, I like a lot of garlic in this. I think that mushrooms just take on that garlic flavor so well. And then some nice fall herbs. I always think of sage in the fall.
Of course.
That's one of my favorite cool weather herbs. And some thyme. Both just taste so good with those mushrooms, especially, and with the butternut squash. It really highlights those fall cozy flavors.
I'm finito here, Miss Lee.
Wow, okay. Toss it with some olive oil, salt and pepper, put it into the oven. Those are gonna cook until they're fork tender. It takes about 25, 30 minutes at that size. 30, 35, just kind of watch it. 425 degrees.
Got it.
All right, and I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper.
I also think when you're involving squash with pasta, it can get a little sweet, even if you don't put sugar. So
Yes,
those,
you're right.
those herbs, that sage, the garlic keeps it savory.
Yeah, totally.
Brings it on over to savory. Add some savory.
I'm gonna add to it some shredded kale. You know how usually in a lasagna, not usually, but sometimes in a lasagna, you'll have spinach, doing like a spinach ricotta filling. So that's where my kale vibes are coming from.
Look at these little morsels over here, huh? You know
Perfect.
that's good.
So see how they cook down even smaller? And they're perfect to go into the filling. Right, those are so sweet and good.
You're gonna know you're eating squash.
Totally. So you just wanna let that cook all the way down, then let it cool off, and we're gonna make our filling. So for our filling, I've got some ricotta cheese here. I've got 1 egg to go in. You give that a little mix. And then I'm gonna add to it some Parmesan cheese. You could also use Pecorino Romano. That would be great. I'm gonna add in some shredded cheese. This is like the bag of the Italian mixed cheese.
Wow, Katie.
Mozzarella, provolone vibes.
Asiago, maybe.
All right, Jeff, take those and put them right in here. And I'm gonna add the mushroom kale filling.
Don't strain yourself, Jeff.
What's up, America? What are you doing? All right, enough of
You
that.
see what I deal with here?
I know.
All right,
Look at that.
give it a quick
Oh,
mix.
super cleanup.
This looks great. It just is like the perfect fall lasagna. Okay, I made a classic bechamel.
Ooh,
So this, I put some of it already underneath the little lasagna rolls.
Nutmeg and all.
Yeah, little nutmeg. The
Yes.
nutmeg's really important because of the kale, too. I think that really brings out the flavor in the greens. And I've got some cooked lasagna noodles here. It takes about 1/3 of a cup of filling per lasagna noodle. And then we're just gonna spread it out.
Just that thwack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Put
a
it right
cartoon
down.
sound
Yeah.
I'm seeing.
Right?
Yeah.
I
Love
mean,
it.
Now, if you're going to the effort of making this, maybe you want to just double the recipe.
Yep.
And freeze.
Yeah.
Like I said, these freeze individually really nicely.
Tell you, if you asked me, I would serve this at Thanksgiving.
It'd be a great, great
one of those-
vegetarian.
It's like a mix of
Yeah.
a mashup.
Oh, well, there's some families that do lasagna on
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
yeah. I do a lot. Yep. Lasagna or ravioli.
I mean, I would take
too.
lasagna any day. All right, so
Oh,
little
my.
spirals.
Pretty.
Beautiful spiral.
Pop them in the 8x8 here. Now, one of our favorite things to do in the fall, we've done the last couple of years now that we have Iris, is to go to Hank's Pumpkin Town. Do you know Hank's Pumpkin Town? It's in Southampton. The traffic is crazy around this
Really?
place because it's on a 2-lane highway.
Worth it.
So it's like you got to plan to be sitting there for a while, but look how much she loves it.
Let me see.
Here she is on her little tractor.
Oh,
Having a great time. All right, I'm gonna top this with the bechamel.
God, that looks
Ooh,
luscious.
double besh.
Jeez.
So this is our sauce, and it smells so good.
You
Smell-
could have
can
just
smell
even
that little
mornayed that and
bit
throw the
of-
cheese in, but
of
it's over the
nutmeg.
top, huh?
Yeah.
I'll
so
take
here
it.
we go.
Dare I say, you might even want to like bump the nutmeg up. because of
Yeah.
all the kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
Fall
everything
flavors
that's
here.
in this benefits from that little bit of nutmeg. All right, so smear it all over, and then I'm gonna top it with more cheese.
That's right.
Because lasagna needs to have cheese.
Did your mother approve this recipe? 'Cause
This would definitely not be a Kim Becker approved recipe.
Kim Becker
Oh,
would
is
not.
this,
Yeah.
this is no.
Well, it does have kale and butternut squash and mushrooms, but all the cream and the cheese.
Katie, that's the liberal amount of cheese there, honey bunny.
I
I
really
like you in the winter months.
I like
Wow,
that
what restraint.
And now for that,
I like a thick layer of cheese on top of my
I'm with you.
lasagna. I don't play when it comes to the cheese. Okay, this is gonna go in 350 degrees for about 45 minutes. This is heavy.
Covered
let
or
me tell you.
uncovered?
Uncovered. If it starts to brown too much, then
Covered,
you can
okay.
cover it up.
A little guy in there, yeah.
Gotcha.
All right.
Oh,
You see that?
a little corner.
Silence.
Oh.
Move the tray. Move the tray.
I don't know what to
Jeff.
do. I'm staring at the cheese.
Move it.
I'm sorry.
That's an oven pull.
Snap,
how
crackle.
much does that weigh? 14 pounds?
I mean, this is heavy.
Feel it. Watch the. Oh my God! There's a fissure in the cooking board.
Yeah. It is heavy. Now, usually you'd let this sit
Right.
for like 10
Forget
minutes
it.
before you cut into
stop
it.
it.
But we are not in the business of having patience,
No,
right?
I will take the
When it
lasagna
comes-
lanch right now.
A lasagna
go.
lanch?
Lasagna lanch.
You might want to
Lasagna
rename
lanch?
lasagna
Yeah.
lanch.
All right, and you want a corner, right?
Of
The
course
corner's
you
like-
want the corner of the lasagna.
Also, maybe because you did the roll-up thing, maybe you don't have to.
Oh,
rest it
that's
as
right, you just-
much because it's not
That's
like
true, that's
layered
true.
like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to
That's
so we can eat
true.
it quicker.
Probably just have to pull out a roll.
justifying.
Yeah, it really is just getting a roll.
Oh my
Oh, I think
God.
you did. I think you found a roll.
Yeah.
You know what good with this, Jeff? We'll go good.
A beer.
A side of sausage.
Oh yeah, well,
Oh, yeah. This will be great with sausage
Yeah.
in it
Oh
if you
my
wanted to add
God.
meat.
You can even do like a turkey or a turkey crumble. You know,
Yes,
even like
yes.
ground turkey.
Oh my God.
But I mean, I
this
have a
looks-
feeling we're gonna
I
be
feel
wanting
really-
for nothing.
Oh wait, should I pass? I should.
No.
No, it's yours.
No,
It's
all yours.
Okay.
Out. Eat
Nobody's
it.
gonna judge you here.
Look at that.
Wow, that's gooey.
And yeah.
Oh no.
Earthy mushrooms, the kale. The kale doesn't stand a chance in here.
It's really just there for decoration, right?
It is.
I think you're cute with your window dressing this time of year. I get it. But honestly,
4 o'clock.
this is about that squash, the cheese, the earthiness of the mushrooms. The bechamel is like a comforter in front of the fire. You know what I mean?
Look
It's
at
already getting warm, then you add more warmth.
Look at my cheese top.
It's a delicious redundancy.
This is an oh my gourd alert.
Oh my
Forget about a
Lord.
fiber alert. I love these flavors, Katie. This is top notch.
Butternut squash is the perfect thing for risotto with saffron. The saffron's really spicy, and the butternut squash is really sweet. When you're peeling butternut squash, you want to use a nice sharp peeler, not those sort of vegetable peelers that you find in the hardware store. You want something really good, and this one's really sharp. This is the quickest way I find to peel it. Just peel the entire outside, and then get a really good, big, sharp knife, major knife. Cut it in half. Keep your fingers out of the way, just like that. Cut off the end like that. So stand it up, cut it in half. You can boil this, but instead I'm gonna actually roast it. I think it really brings out the sweetness, sort of caramelizes it a little bit. So this part's the easy part. Just a good dice. So that's the top of it. And then the bottom, just gonna cut it in half, take out the seeds. You can actually roast those, they're like pumpkin seeds. But I prefer the butternut squash. And then again, just do big cubes. They don't have to be perfect squares, so don't obsess about it. Okay, that's one butternut squash. A little olive oil, salt and pepper. Okay, toss it all together. Into the oven, 400 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes until it's really tender and sweet. Butternut squash is already in the oven. It smells so good. I need 6 cups of chicken stock. I really like to use homemade chicken stock, but if you don't have it, use a can. Okay, now some pancetta. Pancetta is Italian bacon, but frankly, any kind of good quality bacon would do too. So I'm just going to dice it up. It gives great flavor to risotto. So some butter, about 6 tablespoons into the pot, and the pancetta. Need 2 large shallots, or about a half a cup. Okay, now I need 1.5 cups of arborio rice. It's the Italian rice, really special for risotto. Just gonna pour it right in. Okay, that's good. All the rice is coated with butter, so it's perfect. Now I'm gonna add a half a cup of white wine. Now this is the key to good risotto, is you wanna add chicken stock by the ladleful, 2 ladles at a time. If you add it too fast, the risotto cooks on the outside and not on the inside. If you add it too slowly, it gets mushy. 2 ladles, and then I'm gonna add the key ingredient, which is saffron, which I love. It's spicy. It's the stamens of crocuses, which is why it's so expensive. About a teaspoon of saffron, give it a stir. And then probably take about 25 minutes. As the stock is absorbed into the rice, you just wanna add another few ladles full. Needs just a little more stock. Butternut squash is perfect. You want to do this as soon as the risotto is completely cooked and the rice is done. Just stir it in. And the last thing I need is 1 cup of grated Parmesan, and this is the most delicious lunch, all in one pot. And the good news is, it's ready. A little risotto, Stephen?
That's my favorite meal.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, good. Butternut squash risotto.
That sounds great. I've never had this. A little Parmesan.
Thank you.
I just love soup, especially in the fall. It just warms you up. And this is a real fail-proof recipe, and it's delicious. I'm gonna show you how to do this butternut squash soup. Jeff, you're gonna help me out here. So if you can just take that apple, cut it off the core, make it into about 6 big slices.
Okay.
Same with this, just cut it in some slices.
Got it.
We're gonna roast all of these ingredients first. So I've got about 2.5 pounds of butternut squash here cubed up. It's 4 cups. You can buy this already cubed if you want to,
so much easier.
cut down. It's so much easier. Or you can do it yourself if you want to break down a butternut squash. I put it all right on the tray.
Just like that?
And just like
and
that.
the onion too, just kind of
Onion goes on there too. And in the meantime, I've got 4 cups of chicken broth over here simmering. And I made this little herb sachet with some thyme and a bay leaf and a clove of garlic in here. And I just let that simmer for about 10 minutes and it kind of blooms all that flavor in there. It's just a cheesecloth with a little kitchen twine. You don't have to do that. You can throw it all in there and then fish it out if you don't have any cheesecloth. So onto this pan, I put a nice generous amount of olive oil. So I'm just gonna do a little salt and pepper on here.
I love the addition of the apple too, kind of bringing out sweetness of the butternut.
Yeah, it sweetens it up. And this way, you don't have to be sauteing the onions or anything like that. You just put it all on the sheet pan and let the oven do the work for you.
And 0 stovetop mess too. 0 ladder.
Yep. All right, so this goes into the oven, 400 degrees for about 40-45 minutes.
Earlier I said you matched a pumpkin, but now I changed my mind. You matched the butternut squash.
Yes, you're right. I planned it. Okay, so it comes out like this, nice and pretty.
Beautiful color.
And then you just go over here to your chicken broth and put it right in.
You know, you can add some like ginger to that too.
You totally could.
Easy.
You can really play around with
I'm
this.
thinking carrots. Is that what made you do that?
You could you could also, add a little silky element to it by adding some pistachio pudding in there if you want too. It's never too old. And guess what? We can make this green using my spinach puree. I'm just saying. Killer idea.
Okay, I'm gonna season with a little bit more salt and pepper. And then this just needs to simmer for about 20 minutes. The veggies are already cooked, but that way they get into the flavor of the chicken broth. Now, Jeff, I'm gonna ask you to help me again. come down here.
Okay.
We're gonna fish out our little sachet. Now you can use that immersion blender. Here, I got a little plate right
Got
here.
a sachet plate. I didn't know you had that.
Use an immersion blender
Oh, you want me to immerse
blend it up.
The best tool
Now-
in the kitchen.
It is the best.
It's such an easy tool. You don't have to, put
Transfer,
it into
no.
the blender and do the transfer. If you don't have one of these, though, use your blender.
What I love about squash soups is that it freezes amazing. So when you want, a cold day, just
You're
pull
right.
it out and you're ready.
You could vegan this out with vegetable stock instead of chicken stock.
Yeah, you can totally use vegetable stock for this as well.
I like pork jowl in it. Well,
I do.
You
It would
like
be good
pork
though.
chop.
Little salt pork, a little
All
smoky
right,
pork.
so to
in there.
serve this, what I did was I got this pretty little pumpkin here at the patch, and I hollowed it out, and we're gonna use this for the soup. How's it going over there?
I think we're just about perf right
Okay.
now because I am the immersion king.
All right, Immersion King, well, take that soup and pour it right in here.
Here we go. You ready?
oh,
The
Ready.
old butternut cascade.
This is perfect for a party. And you see how easy that soup was? It doesn't
simple.
get any simpler than that. There we go. There's our cauldron. Got my little ladle into the bowl.
Ooh, man, it smells good from here.
Frankenstein's ladle?
It is. It's Frankenstein's ladle. Then you can just put your top back on the soup to keep it warm. And then, to make this a little spookier, I've got some sour cream here in my squeeze bottle. I'm gonna make a spider web. Now you take a little skewer and use the back end and just go through it.
Oh, man. That
You're
is
the
that.
superista.
And it's a little spider web, just like that.
Wowie kazowie.
Jeff, would you like to
Yes,
do
I
the
would like to
honors?
try because
Let me know
right.
what you think of that.
Break it. Break the spider.
it's so
you
pretty.
There might be spiders around.
How did I know, man? Would you say?
We are a high budget.
That was.
show here.
All right, I'm gonna try this finally. It's so pure. It's the essence of the butternut squash is here. Creaminess on top. You know what the secret ingredients is? It's that apple. It's funky. It's a little tart. It's awesome.
So I'm starting with 1.5 pounds of butternut squash. I've peeled it, just taken out the seeds, and I'm just gonna cut it in big chunks. Just right onto a sheet pan. I do everything on a half sheet pan. Big drizzle of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. About 1 tablespoon of good maple syrup. Use the real thing, makes a difference. Lots of salt and pepper. Clean hands. Just toss it all together. So I'm gonna bake at 450 degrees for 15 minutes. It's gonna be nice and brown. Then I'm gonna turn it with a spatula. Add some cranberries for the last 5 minutes. They get nice and plump and it really brings out their flavor. Okay, into the oven. So the next thing I'm gonna make for the salad is a warm vinaigrette, which is a little unusual. Most vinaigrettes are cold. But what I'm gonna do is reduce it, really intensify the flavors, and the warm vinaigrette really gets into the butternut squash. It's delicious. First thing I'm gonna use is 3/4 cup of apple cider. You can use apple juice, but apple cider, if you can find it, is even better. And to give it a little bit of a vinegary edge, since it's a vinaigrette, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. It's sort of the sweet and sour thing at the same time. And then 2 tablespoons of shallots. So I'm just gonna let that reduce. It'll take about 6 or 8 minutes until it's really concentrated. The flavors are really melded together. So the vinaigrette's reduced. Oh, that looks nice. It's really concentrated flavor. So now I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of mustard. And what that's gonna do is make an emulsion out of the vinaigrette. 1/2 cup of olive oil. And just whisk it in. Off the heat. About 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and just whisk it all together. I'm going to add cranberries to the butternut squash, just about 3 tablespoons in the last 5 minutes of cooking. Really brings out their flavor and plumps them up. Time to assemble the salad. So the first thing I have is 4 ounces of arugula. It's gorgeous baby arugula. And I love it because it's got a nice peppery flavor. And it's great with the butternut squash. So I'm just gonna take the warm butternut squash, put it right on top of the arugula. It'll wilt the arugula, which is perfect. Okay, next I'm gonna put some walnuts, about 1/2 cup of toasted walnuts. I dry roasted them in a pan. Really brings out the walnut flavor. And lots of the grated Parmesan cheese, 3/4 of a cup. And the warm vinaigrette, it's sweet and it's sour from the vinegar. Just pour it all over. And just toss it all together, the spinach and butternut squash. It's got such great flavors, great autumnal looking salad. I would say that's gonna be perfect for Jeffrey's dinner. Now, all we need is a glass of champagne. Jeffrey's gonna think we're in a bistro in Paris, right there on our side porch.
A hearty, warming puree of roasted acorn squash, shallots and herbs, and a swirl of heavy cream, topped with a peppery pistachio Parmesan crostini. Each bowlful looks great, and it even tastes better. I've got some acorn squash in the oven, kind of roasting down. I'm gonna start some shallots with a little bit of this olive oil, kind of caramelize these bad boys up. It's gonna be the basis of the soup. Okay, so I'm gonna get these down. That pan was super hot, so I didn't put my butter in yet, but let me throw a little butter in now. Some great flavor out of this. Okay, we'll just reduce the heat a little bit. Dutch oven was waiting for me to hurry up. And let them kind of go low and slow. I really want to pull some of the flavor out of this and let these caramelize. Let's take a look at that squash. That's what I'm talking about. Look at those bad boys all roasted up. The garlic in there, even a little bit of moisture inside of it, that's all flavor. My shallots look really nice in here. Now it's time to deglaze the bottom of this pan. We'll grab a little chicken stock for that. So that's what we've got. We're letting the acorn squash kind of cool down before we scoop it out, get into here. I'm gonna deglaze with the chicken stock. This will be the base of the soup. Outrageous. I think it'd just be great like this, but we're making this dynamite soup, and I got some shallots and chicken stock doing time over here, simmering nicely. And inside of the squash, in the cavities, I put some shallots, so that roasted with them. Those are gonna go right into the soup. Actually, everybody's gonna go into the soup. Let me see, I've got the shallots, some roasted garlic. That'll be really nice. And then the squash meat itself goes right in. That'll make it nice and creamy. Just a touch of cayenne. Not too much, about 1/4 teaspoon. And about the same on the white pepper. A little dried sage, we all know what that's like, the rub sage, okay? And then some savory, which you don't hear a lot of times. And this has kind of got like a little lemony, almost dried arugula idea, but a little bit more citrusy, okay? Some Worcestershire sauce, a tablespoon of that in. Okay, so let me just give this a quick little buzz. These immersion blenders, I love them because we don't have to take all the soup out and hit it into the blender right now and then pour it back in because I want to continue cooking. I just sit here and do this, kind of get all the big pieces ground up, let it continue to simmer. Over to this acorn squash soup. Little olive oil goes in, some grated Parmesan cheese, just a touch. Adds a little bit of salt to that, but this was seasoned really nice. So we'll stir that around. Okay, now look at these crostinis I got sitting over here. Chopped up some pistachios, hit a little Parmesan cheese, buttered up that baguette, popped it in the oven, and look at that. This is not your everyday soup, but tell me that's not gonna be nice and hearty on a cold winter day, especially during the holidays. I'll just put a little, you see here, I'll use my spoon so it doesn't just kind of clump right in the middle. There we go. I like that one. Float that bad boy right on top of there. And now let me get a taste of that. The roasted acorn, the garlic was roasted with it, the shallots, the chicken stock, the savory.
I like to make things that are just warm and familiar and make people feel really good. So, in that vein, I'm making roasted winter vegetables for TR. The key to roasting vegetables is you want to make sure you have big chunks of vegetables because when they roast, they sort of shrink down a little bit. So, I have lots of carrots. I'm going to mix them all in this sheet pan together. This is a butternut squash. It's one of my favorite vegetables. It's sort of tough, you'll see on the inside. And what I've done is I've peeled it just like that all the way around and then cut it in half. and cut out the seeds and then chopped it in big cubes. So I've already got one done, which is all I need. So that's just gonna go right on the sheet pan with the carrots. Okay, the next thing is sweet potatoes. Somehow sweet potatoes and yams always get confused, but what you find here is always sweet potatoes. Yams are more of a yellow and a little sort of starchier. And the next thing is parsnips. So if you haven't seen a parsnip, this is it. Looks like a carrot. It's not orange, obviously, it's white, but it's really, I just think they're really delicious. And they're sort of sweet the way carrots are sweet. So you can cut them in half like that in big dices. But I've got it already peeled and diced. So it's just gonna go on the sheet pan. How easy is that? Just cutting and chopping. And now what I'm gonna do, I'll get them ready for TR to roast in the oven by pouring olive oil. Lots of salt. Remember, vegetables really use up the salt, so you wanna make sure it's well seasoned. And freshly ground pepper. Right on top. It's a really simple vegetable because there's so many different kinds. It's also really flavorful. Okay, and then I'm just gonna toss them together with my hands. So TR's just gonna put this in the oven with a baked Virginia ham, and I'd say his friends are gonna be really impressed. And I'm the only one who's gonna know how easy it was. It's roasted winter vegetables. Ta-da! How's that?
Looks great.
Usually, I roast them at a high temperature, like 425 for about 25 or 30 minutes. But since you have one oven and the ham is in there at 350, you're gonna roast it at 350 for 45 minutes, and they'll be perfect. Okay, so you want to pop it in the oven? Okay, perfect.
Looks good. No, good. Can I have one? It's really easy. Is everybody hungry?
We're starving.
These are the roasted vegetables.
Gorgeous. Beautiful. TR, this is too good. You have to get another house next week so we can do this all over again.
Butternut squash pasta casserole. It is so hearty and delicious. So to keep things easy, I'm adding a bag of butternut squash from the freezer. You can totally use fresh instead. And then in addition to the squash, I'm gonna add a quart of chicken broth, low sodium, and I'm cranking the heat because I want this to cook until the butternut squash is totally tender. This is a very fall-friendly recipe, but since you can buy butternut squash in the freezer section of the grocery store year-round, you can totally make this whenever you want. Whenever you want. Salt and pepper. Okay, so the butternut squash is gonna cook for 5 minutes until it's soft. Watch the magic happen. I'm gonna turn this into a squashy liquid, which is kind of strange. It doesn't sound all that good, but trust me. And you can puree it as much or as little as you want to. You can make it a totally smooth puree, or it can be sort of a chunky puree. I like things with some texture. All right, just about done. I see some chunks of butternut in there, but I'm gonna leave them because I think it'll make the casserole more interesting. Okay, so this is so cool because I'm actually gonna pull this casserole together in the casserole pan. So I already cooked some penne, and watch this. This is basically the liquid for the casserole, but it's kind of like butternut squash mac and cheese, you know? It's gonna be delicious, trust me.
It'll be great.
Okay, and then I've got a few things to add. Some roasted red pepper, frozen peas, and goat cheese. It kind of combines with the butternut squash, and oh my gosh, the texture and the consistency of this casserole is amazing. Stirring it right in the casserole dish. And this pasta was actually kind of cooked to not quite al dente, so the extra liquid in the casserole will keep the casserole from becoming dry when it bakes, because the pasta is going to keep absorbing some of that liquid. Ooh, so pretty so far. Now this is a really cool little ingredient to add. I grated cauliflower. So instead of using like a breadcrumb or something, I'm doing cauliflower, and that makes it more veggie forward, more healthy. And then on top of the cauliflower, just for a little extra flavor, some salt and pepper. I love this casserole. And I love casseroles that you can assemble right in the pan. I don't have a whole bunch of different bowls that I'm mixing in. All right, now I've got a whole bunch of mozzarella since Paige was quick to point out that there wasn't enough cheese in this casserole. And then Parmesan, of course, on top of the mozzarella. Tons of different ingredients going on, but they're all very simple. And then parsley, and I'll save a little bit to sprinkle on at the end. I think this is gonna be amazing. What do you think?
I think so. All
right, let's get this in the oven. We're gonna bake it at 375 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes, and I am so sorry that you have to wait that long. Oh, actually, you don't have to wait that long. Look, 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 look.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. That looks incredible. Check it out, you guys.
Wow. All that cheese.
Wow, it looks so good. I think we need to serve it.
Yes.
I think we need to try it. I think we need to enjoy it.
Can I try?
Yeah, are you excited to try this, Paige?
I just love goat cheese.
All right, Alex, come on.
Gotta get sliced cam, or scoop cam.
Oh dear.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
no.
It's basically,
That is
this is basically mac and cheese that took a trip around the world or something. Here, Paige, I'll let you try.
So excited. Okay, one bite review. Trying to get all the good stuff.
One bite review.
One bite. Oh, it smells so good. That was
Really good.
I'm gonna roast it with brown sugar and get it really caramelized. It's so good. This is 2 butternut squash cubed. Cube them really large. I think they look better and they roast better. And then I'm gonna add some melted butter. It's a holiday, so you can use butter. Brown sugar, which caramelizes them. Lots of salt. Black pepper. And this is the messy part, clean hands. Just toss it all together. And that's it. I'm gonna roast it at a really high temperature, 400 degrees, for about 45 to 55 minutes, and the outside gets really browned and caramelized, and the inside is really juicy and sweet.